Hey there, I'm Brittni Schroeder, and business and marketing are my jam. I'm here to walk you step by step through this crazy thing we call business. I'm a small town girl, chocolate eating, Diet Coke drinking mom, marketing guru, automation Jedi, and all around good time. This is your weekly dose of all things business and life, sprinkled with some fun. This is the Redefine Business Podcast. Welcome to another episode of Redefine Business Podcast. I am excited for my guest today. She is in New York. She's on the East Coast here, and we're talking about that she's getting snow, and we have yet to get any in Utah. But I am excited to chat with Indy Lee. She is the founder of a skincare line called Indy Lee. And welcome to the podcast, Indy Lee.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I was just going to say, but then I was like, oh, I got to introduce you first. But I was going to say, Indy Lee, what a cool name. Is that your name?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it is now.
It is now. Okay. I love that. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Sometimes I interview people and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I love your name. Like that is like a rock star name or something. So
I feel like it is. No, I was born Lisa.
Okay.
And when I was 6, I was blogging under the name Indy Lee, which stood for Independent Lisa.
Oh, I love that.
And when I started the line after successfully surviving brain surgery, they said, we love you. This line is really about you, but your name is not something we could see on a box. What's your name? Which is even worse than my married name. And I said, I don't think anybody's ever going to buy a skincare line that says Swengross on it. So,
okay, yeah,
no. And they're like, oh gosh, we're going to have to fix this. I'm like, you want me to change my name? And they're like, well, yeah, we have to think about this. And I'm like, all right, well, I blog under Indy Lee. They're like, congratulations. And I changed my name legally. I've been Indy Lee for
really?
Yes, 16 years.
I love it. Well, that's cool. Well, I always say that I'm Brittni but like my name is spelled really like unique because it's spelled Brittni. But I always say that I am like the OG because I always say I have never met a Brittni older than me because I was born in 1977. And so I always say that I am the OG. I am the OG Brittni because I have yet to meet anybody with my name that's older than me. So that's my thing to claim with my name.
That.
So I love it. Well, Indy, tell us about your story. How did it all begin?
Sure. My entree into beauty is not typical. I'm actually a public-private CPA. So I ran HBO's International Finance Division. I have my CPA. I get to travel all over the world with them. And then I realized I don't really love accounting. And so I left. I was spending more time with my children. My son was, oh my gosh, when I left, 3. My daughter was just born. Got very involved with farm to table movement, built a 750 square foot greenhouse in my backyard, was bringing school gardens to life, bringing edible flowers to Whole Foods, the whole thing. And then I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. I couldn't work in the farm or the greenhouse that I built. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is a type A personality going to do when I'm told I can't do what I thought I was going to do? And my sister announced that she's pregnant. I'm like, oh, perfect. I'm going to take all the calendula. And you have to realize I had like a 20 by 20 foot square plot of calendula. I had 12 different varieties of lavender growing. I'm like, oh, I'm going to take these flowers and I'm going to make products for my soon to be born nephew because I didn't want anything potentially harmful on his tush. I understood that babies were born with toxic load. I understood the importance of what, they have a suppressed immune system, all that. Did not think about adults, was just thinking about the kids. I'm like, I'm going to create this little line. I'm going to unveil it in a baby shower. And it's just for the shower. And when I got there, everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is great. You should start a baby line. I'm like, it was 2008. Nobody was thinking about what they were really putting on products, certainly for children. I'm like, I don't really think that's an industry. And then the universe stepped in and said, not so fast. And I started to lose my peripheral vision out of my left eye. That was November 4th, 2008. I went to the doctors and he immediately sent me for a scan. And 45 minutes after the scan, he called for me to come in. And I was like, okay, tell me what we found. He said, I'd rather tell you face to face. And I'm like, oh no, I'm going to use WebMD. You need to tell me now and I will get in the car. I said, the key's in my hand. And he said, you have a brain tumor. And I said, I'll see you in 15 minutes. And I always say that was the most transformational 15 minutes of my life. I realized for 37 years at that point, I was a passenger and not the driver of my life. And that whatever time I had left, I was going to live with what I affectionately call the 3 Ps, which is purpose, passion, to be fully present in every moment. And something incredible will come out of this if I would just allow it. And because I truly believe that you can't control everything, but you can control how you handle it. And so I decided that I was going to do this with a lot of energy and optimism. And so when I got to the doctors, I said, what do I have? And he's like, wow, you're in a great place. I said, I'm in a fantastic place. Something great is going to come out of this. He says, it doesn't look like cancer. You need to go see some heavy hitters. So off I went, Johns Hopkins, Sloan, Duke, NIH, and basically was told I had 6 months and there was nothing I could do. And I was like, oh, hell no, that is not what's going to happen. And I went to my neuroendocrinologist and I said, how is this possible? Nobody knows in my family has anything like this. And that's what he said. We're finding more and more of these things tied to the environment. Like the environment, I eat out of a greenhouse in my backyard that is certified naturally grown. And he's like, yes, that's the environment. He's like, let me ask you, what do you surround yourself with? He's like, what you eat is obviously part of it. What you surround yourself, he's like, what do you put on your skin? What your mother put on her skin when she was pregnant with you? And in that moment, Brittni, everything changed. I knew why this was happening. And I knew babies were born with a toxic load. I knew about transdermal absorption. And, 60% can be absorbed in as little as 32 seconds. And I realized that's what this is about. I need to create a line, not for children, but for everybody. That's safe, that's effective, that looks beautiful on a shelf. 2008, it did not look beautiful on a shelf. It looked like something you got at a farmer's market that was browning. And more importantly, I wanted to educate and empower others about what they're putting in on their body and find a doctor who was going to do surgery. I was lucky. I found a doctor out of NYU who said, I'll give you a shot. You have less than 50% chance of making it. And I said, I'm dying. Let's go. And on Earth Day, I walked into the surgical suite and said, today is a great day to live. Put on some kick-ass music and let's go. And when I woke up 8 hours later, I was able to see out of both eyes completely. And doctors said, we got everything. Welcome to your life. And I turned the website on 2 months later. Now, I will tell you, I had delusions of grandeur. I could turn on a website and everybody flocked to it. I didn't really understand, I needed to market. I needed to do all those things. But, it's been 16 years in here, Nordstrom's, Ultras, Blue Mercury's, Creda's, Detox Market. To be known as one of the pioneers in the clean beauty industry is something that I don't take lightly.
Oh, I love that. I love that you said that the marketing, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs, we come up with these great ideas and marketing is such a large part of it. And the hustle. And, and I think because, I'm a business coach and I help people with automations in their systems and stuff. And I'm often telling them I can create these systems. You have to drive traffic. And I'm seeing over and over that people they're frustrated because it's so much work. The marketing.
It's so much work.
It's so much work. And here's the other thing that is I'm a realist and I'm honest. There's no easy button.
No. And it's expensive. I mean, if you want to create scale when you're launching, that's going to be expensive. Long gone are the days of 10x, 20x ROI or ROAS.
Yeah.
Really competition. I mean, I'm in a very crowded market as well now.
Yeah.
So it's expensive. It's a lot of work. You can't just own your way to success. You've got to hustle. My concern is always, you can't let the hustle become your life, though.
Yeah. And that's why people get burnt out, too, is I'm sick of the hustle. I love what I'm doing, but I'm sick of the hustle. And you got to put yourself out there. I mean, chances are you're in Whole Foods or you're in Nordstrom's or wherever you're at, you probably had to chase them down. They're not knocking on your door and saying, oh, gimme. You're and it probably took a lot of failure to have success.
Absolutely. I think that oftentimes we think failure is a negative. I actually think it's a teaching moment. I don't think it's a negative. How can you learn? You don't learn from your successes. You learn from your failures, your missteps.
Yeah.
And so very much the case. I will tell you, we were very lucky. The majority of our retailers came to us, but you have to realize I was very early to the clean movement. I mean, pioneering it, I was the first, And so, it's the Tanta Harpers, the Dr. Hauschkas, myself, Osea, that were first to market. So people were starting to look at clean. It was just the concern, is it effective? And then once they learned, you can have efficacy in clean.
Yeah.
Why are we sacrificing health?
Okay. I want to touch on that though, is you're like, we're very lucky. I talked about this in a podcast before. I think that there is luck, but it's like the hard work equals like luck.
Of course.
It's a numbers game. Like you were hustling and doing all these things before, and then you got exposure. I've shared this story before that I was in the Wall Street Journal. This is when I was a photographer. And I look at it and I like back then, I mean, it was many years ago, but I was like, it was just luck. It was luck, but it was luck because I was in the right place at the right time. That was the luck part of it, but it was still all my hustle, everything, all my exposure allowed me to be in the right place at the right time. And then luck fell into my lap. And so it is, because I think, especially we're in this world where it is like clickbaity, where it's just like, oh my gosh, I made $30,000 in 30 days. And it's like, okay, but it took you longer. There was either a huge investment in time or a huge investment in money, because it doesn't just happen that overnight like that.
100%. I always say, luck is when hard work and timing coincide.
Yeah.
And that's when the luck happens. And I also tell people it takes 10 years to be an overnight success.
I love it.
Of course, there are the outliers that people like hit it right on, but that is far and few between.
Yeah.
But what happens is we then kind of posture that as, oh my God, look at this overnight success. And everyone thinks I can have that too. What they're not saying is the 1,000 people before them that didn't have that immediate success.
Yeah.
So, and I think it also goes to, what does success look like to you?
Yeah.
For me, success was creating change in an industry that was largely, and still is largely, unregulated.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
and I think it's interesting because I'm teaching, I taught, this was a couple of months ago, but I taught this entrepreneur class, and it was a 6-week course, and it was for a private school. And so it was kids from 5th to 8th grade. So they were younger. And it was interesting because I'm creating my presentation. I'm creating the curriculum for this entrepreneur chapter that I was teaching them. And one of the fundamentals was find a need in an industry and solve that need. And I think we forget that. And that's kind of what happened. You saw a need in an industry, and at the time it wasn't oversaturated, but you were founder, I have a need. And so it got me thinking again, even in my own business, where I'm like, okay, I've got to be a founder. I've got to find that need and get a solution before other people do, before it gets saturated. And so, but I agree. And you can't people can't compare their beginning to somebody else's middle.
Correct.
And I love that you said that, the 10-year. I'm going to have to steal that one, Indy. I'm like, say it again so I can jot it down.
Takes 10 years to be an overnight success. And I think that's important for people to realize the amount of work that goes into it. And the more people that steal that or use that and share it, the more in reality we will be that the hustle isn't going to necessarily give you the result in the time frame you might picture.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's where the passion and feeling that what you're doing, there's a purpose behind it. It allows you to keep going. Otherwise, it's really easy to get what am I doing?
Yeah.
I think entrepreneurialism is a very interesting breed. It certainly is, because you have to have that patience.
Yeah. And the perseverance and the ability to fail and be okay with it.
Absolutely. And be okay to fail and be okay. And these days you have to be okay to fail publicly.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
When I started, social media was really just starting. It was really starting to catch back then. I started in 2008, 2009. It was just starting to become more mainstream. It was more personal based. It was really brand based. And now everything you do is scrutinized by the masses.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I think too, backing up just a little bit about the building up, I get that sometimes in my business where people will hire me and say, I want my business to look like your business. And I'll say, it took me 15 years to look like this, And so we have to be patient with it. We have to be okay. I think one of the things too is being true to your core values too, is staying true to your core values. And, because it's hard and you have to one of my core values is being honest and upfront. And I'm not going to, I don't want to take somebody's money if I cannot be honest with them and say, hey, this is what it's going to take,
100%. It's tricky. It really is tricky. I think people have that understanding okay, well, I'll hire someone and they'll be able to make me just like them. They don't realize the IP that goes into what everybody has done to become this version of themselves, whether it's the brand that they're creating, the content creation that they're creating, the personal coaching. It's a part of them and you can't copy that, and finding your own special secret sauce that makes you different, I think, is always the challenge, but it does create room for patience. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's important to remember that you can, I do, when people ask me for business advice, I always say find a mentor. It really helps so much if you can find a mentor, somebody who's done it before you. But I often say too, and this is why I think I'm so open and transparent with everything I do, because I said, I can teach you every single thing that I know, every secret, every tip, every trick, but you'll never be me. You cannot teach that. And so I think that's what makes us unique. It is
absolutely
that what somebody else is doing doesn't necessarily translate over. Some people have a lot of charisma. Some people are good writers. Some people are good speaking in public. But you have to find what you're passionate about and then lead with that, because that's what's going to help you to be successful.
I completely agree. I think there's also a lot of need for people to become clearer. You need to have clarity. I have added, over the past few years, I've added perspective. So I had the 3 Ps: purpose, passion, be fully present, which 15 years later, I still live every day with it. But I also have a tremendous amount of perspective of what it took to get here, the things that I went through. And so I'm very clear on what is important to me and the things that I want to go after and I want to achieve for the brand, for myself. And I think oftentimes we just say, well, I want to be successful. Well, get really clear on what success looks like so you can achieve that goal.
Yeah. You have to have a roadmap if you want to get from destination to A to B. You have to know.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah,
I think
for
that's
sure.
Another thing. I think that's a superpower, is asking for help.
I do too. Well, I love that. Well, Indy, tell us where can people find your products? I'm gonna go and buy some of your products. So I'm in the market for some new skincare. So where can we find your stuff? Tell us.
Okay, so right now you can find us in every Blue Mercury. We're on Ulta.com. We're at Credo, Detox Market, all the clean beauty aisles, Erewhon in California. But starting in February, talk about finding a niche, finding an opening, we're launching in Whole Foods. So what I did, we're going to launch in, I think, every Whole Foods in the US. And it is a 4-product little capsule called India Lee Botanicals. I'm super excited about it. It's a nod back to where I started in the greenhouse, and really based in those botanical elements, right? And really hands in the soil, going back to nature, going back to simplicity, but also democratizing it, because right now, let's take a look at what's happening in the economy. And I want healthy, clean beauty to be available for everybody. And I think there's a space in the grocery aisles when you're going and you're doing your shopping so that you can feel good about that. I read the labels of everything I put in my body. I also read the labels of everything I put on my body. And I think those are equally important. So I'm really excited to be partnering with Whole Foods to be able to bring this to the masses.
I'm so excited. I'm fangirling over here. I'm so excited. I'm going to jump online and look at all your products. I'm super excited to try them out. So, well, Indy, thank you so much for coming on my podcast. I'd love to hear your story. I like to end all my podcasts with asking my guests 2 questions. And I shouldn't have warned you at the first. I should have reminded you at the first. So
nope, I love being surprised. So I love this to be honest and real.
Okay. I always end my podcast with asking my guests 2 questions. The first one is, what is a pet peeve? And the second one is, what is a simple pleasure? So let's start with the pet peeve so we can end on a positive note. What is a pet peeve of yours?
Oh my gosh, you're going to laugh. My biggest pet peeve is when my children do not replace the toilet paper on the toilet paper holder, even though it's right there. It's like, I made it so easy. You lift it up, you put it on. That just drives me nuts.
Oh, that's funny. That is a good pet peeve.
Not what everybody was expecting.
Yes, that's a good one. Okay, what is a simple pleasure? Simple pleasure.
Oh, that is easy. People are going to laugh at this. Lipton's onion dip. That is a simple, guilty pleasure of mine.
That is a first. This is a first on the podcast, I will say.
I'm going to do totally unique here. I mean, listen, I could say meditation, all those things. But the truth is, and this is a conversation I was having with someone recently. I used to only have onion dip at the holidays or special occasions. And my husband said, you're a big girl. You're allowed to have it whenever you want. You can even keep it in the refrigerator. And I was like, yeah, I am. And he's like, yeah. So I always have onion dip in my fridge. Do I eat it? No, not as much.
But it's always there.
But it's there.
Do you do the mix with cream cheese?
Yes.
Okay, my dad used to do that, but my dad would put clams in it. But it was only during the holidays.
I see what I mean. So that is it's like such a simple thing, and it's so funny because my husband and I will text each other if we're in the house, and he's in his office. I'm like, some chips and dip. And he's like, sure. And we'll just have a couple of chips. And it's just a simple thing.
I'm going to have to make that. Now you've got me reminiscing of my childhood because I haven't had it for a lot of years. Okay, I know this is all about you, but I'm going to say a simple pleasure for me is a charcuterie board. I love cheese and crackers and meat. Like, it's a simple pleasure. I love it. I love it.
And I don't think you should have to keep it for a special holiday.
Absolutely not. Well, Indy Lee, this has been fabulous. It's been so fun to chat with you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Do you have a website or do they just see? Okay, what's your website? And I'll put it in the show notes too.
Sure. It's IndieLee, INDIELEE.com. And you'll be able to find all of our socials from there too.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been so fun.
Thank you.
Let's not stop the party here. Head on over to my Instagram or Facebook group, Redefine Your Business, and let me know your thoughts about today's show. I will see you again, same time, same place, next week.